You're listening to The Blind Chick, an Aftersight original podcast. We're telling you stories about strength, overcoming hurdles, and living experiences. We see who you really are. Blindness can be an adventure. Are you ready for the journey of a lifetime? We are. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Blind Chick. You're listening to part 3. Yes, part 3 with Shawn Cheshire. It's been an amazing couple of weeks listening to Shawn's story, and so I want to encourage you, go back and listen to parts 1 and 2. But I do want to say, it gets a little spicy in this episode. And so if you have young ears or if you have sensitivity to some language, we want to make sure that you maybe skip this episode if you need to and come back next week, as it's just going to be a really wonderful time. I want to remind everybody, we are going to be having a hike September 13th. So if you want information on that, visit us at aftersight.org/hike, and you can get all the information there. All right, Penn, I'm going to turn it over to you because we have just an amazing time and you have a very interesting story to tell.
Yeah, we were staying at a really neat historic hotel up in Wyoming, and I show up with my guide dog and everything, and the woman who owned the hotel, and we were with friends, and it was like she was stalking us, and then the next morning, it included breakfast. So we went down to breakfast. Well, she goes, "Oh, you can't bring the dog into the breakfast." And I said, "Yes, I can." And we went in and everything. And then, as we were, I think it is, and this happened frequently with her. Like every corner I'd come around, there she'd be. It was kind of creepy. And then I was sitting out in the lobby waiting for everybody to come because we were actually leaving. And she came down, she sat right beside me, and she said, "I've been watching you." And I said, "Yeah, I know." Like, it's quite obvious. I think everybody in this hotel knows you're watching me. And she goes, "You're not really blind because I've seen you with your phone."
I love people like that.
And it's like, it was horrible. Like she didn't ruin our experience because I didn't allow her to.
Right.
But I just I'm like, we could have had such a phenomenal time at your establishment if you weren't ignorant, and it was just crazy how that happens. Well, Shawn, I have to say, you're the documentary, listening to it, and it wasn't even audio described, but
I'm going to send it to you though.
I can't wait because I'm sure there are parts I miss. It was actually created took a PTSD in me because when I loved to bike ride, love, and I never, nothing like you, but And I also used, when I got away from my family and realized I could be my own person. I know that sounds like a lot, but I loved bike riding. I loved hiking and climbing and skiing, and I got into every sport I could possibly get into. And I loved bike riding and I would ride. I had enough vision then that I could make out the white line. And so I would ride the white line. And but I was in a really bad hit and run accident. And same thing, like I don't remember what happens, but definitely get, like, I call them flash memories, flight to life, all that kind of fun stuff. And so when you were riding and I could hear the semis coming by, I was just like, "Oh my God, I don't think I can do this." But I got through it twice. But I just do not, like, your stamina, the guts, the whatever it took to get you through those situations. And I know you took some spills, but it really got me. Like, that is something I definitely could not do. Again, is get on my bike. And we will ride, it took years for me to ride because we have an awesome tandem, but the feeling, and as you know, the feeling of being on your own bike, it's that decision making, right? Like you have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Moses and I will ride on our bike path in our hometown, because I don't know why, but hardly anybody's ever on it. And he actually rides behind me, and he'll say, "You're clear, just go straight, and stuff." Kind of like when we're skiing.
I love that.
And I love it. It's so free, and it's, but then when I was listening to your movie, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's like, how did she do that?
Yeah.
And and I love in the movie where you talk about, I want to push myself to do things that people don't think we can do as blind people. And I'm friends with Eric Wymeyer, who I'm sure you know who he is.
Yep.
And Eric is that kind of that same thing, is these glass ceilings need to be shattered, and people like you and Eric are doing that. And then I just, how did you, what did you use to get, like, I don't even know how to ask the question, but how did you get up every time? Like when you fell, or like when you guys are riding in the ice and snow, and it's like, what got you back on the bike to do another mile and another mile and another mile?
Well, I really wanted to do it. Like, I really wanted to make it across the country so I could. I felt like it was not only helping. I feel like all of these adventures that I do is part of my grief process. And there's this whole other process on the inside of me that's happening as I do these hard things. And I want to feel like, if I'm going to contribute, how do I contribute, to the world? And if I can do something that I spent 7 years racing with Team USA on a tandem, that blind people can't ride single bikes, and I can prove them wrong so they shut up. To me, I am showing up for our community, our blind and visually impaired community, to make it bigger, right? To eliminate some barriers, to make people curious as to what is possible, right? It's not about what can we or can't we do. It should be, well, what do you want to do, and then how do we make that happen?
Yeah.
Because then I feel like even the young kids that are blind and visually impaired, if they can be taught that, then the world is so much bigger. They have
Right.
so many more choices for opportunities than to stick to what society's put out there of what blind people can or can't do, or what we should or shouldn't look like.
Right.
And so for me, making the decision to show up every day to be brave is not only first and foremost for myself and my own internal process, it is also a way to give back. What is my legacy going to be, when I die? What am I leaving behind? And to me, I would like to leave behind possibility.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a huge one. That's my biggest pet peeve, being married to a blind person, is and a lot because I know that being not just Penn, but being around a lot of blind people through the NFB and all that kind of stuff, that blind people, for the most part, see way better than sighted people do. And as an artist, Penn, her example for me was, holy cow, I can't see half of what I need to be seeing. And so I've worked on it, because, or a silly version of that, if I lose something, I go straight to Penn because she'll find it before I can. But and we joke around that blind people are X-Men, that society.
I love that. Oh my God, I'm going to have to use that.
Yeah, definitely, because people are afraid of you, because they don't want to catch blindness. and they know you're helpless and you're repulsive because you're hopeless. But you develop superpowers. And this is one I'm starting to research that I was noticing because we interview so many people who got really successful in life after they lost their sight. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, that should be the reverse. And it turns out that when you've been through a major trauma, it alters the brain that you can think things the average person can't think. You can go beyond what the average person can't. So you literally develop kind of superpowers, which then, of course, scares people even more. And I've said it a lot of times that if I was in a situation where I was going to start a business, I would hire nothing but blind people because they are so obviously so superior to sightlings. And with that, let's go to a happier thing, the film festivals. Yeah. And on a light note. So how many festivals have you done now?
We have done 4. I think 4.
Yeah, and you won some
We did
awards already.
Our first one was Bentonville, Gina Davis's last June. We did Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival in November. Oh, so we have 3. And then we did Sedona Film Festival where we won Best of the Festival. So we won overall.
That's right.
Nice.
And that's where you and Sedona Dave met up, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, we did. I actually saw them again when they came into town with Camp Abilities, and I went out and met everybody, and we went hiking and stuff. It's interesting that I sometimes get a little tongue-tied not knowing what to say to kids.
Oh,
because I'm so blunt. I'm really just I'm just out there, and then I have someone coming and telling me, Shawn, we've got some young kids in this crowd, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure they hear fuck somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, it's interesting. But I love Sedona Dave.
Yes,
he's such a sweet guy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I hiked with him too.
Yes, and I think he's the one who connected us.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Are you still hustling to get into more festivals?
So we're not really. We're trying to get into Banff.
Oh yeah,
in Canada,
that's a good one
because that's an international.
Yeah.
That's like the entrance into the international film festivals.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, October, November. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
And so we're just waiting to hear from that festival. But I'm doing like an impact tour, so we're reaching out to different organizations like organizations that deal with children advocacy for children who experience abuse, women's shelters, colleges. We did 2 screenings at Northern Arizona University.
Nice.
The impact that it has with college kids is really interesting. We've screened it down in Sedona for another week on top of the film festival in the end of May, and I went for 2 days to do some Q&As, which is always interesting. And so we're just like, there's the impact. So if there's an organization that would like to screen it and do Q&A, which, that's what we're doing now. And then eventually I think we're going to do like a 6-month campaign. We're talking to a PR firm in New York City about doing a national campaign to find like a home for it on a streaming
good
network of some sort eventually. And then of course that's Gina's aspect of it, and then my aspect of it is I just think that my process is ongoing. So if there's any ever groups or schools or towns or anyone that ever wants to screen it and have me come and sit and talk with people, because I'm not really a motivational speaker, because I actually don't have any desire to take a microphone and stand on a stage and try to convince people to pull their heads out of their assholes and stop taking shit for granted. I don't feel like that's my responsibility. So I, however, am a conversationalist. I love to talk with people. And I feel like with my story, there's so much vulnerability there that it's about the human connection.
Absolutely.
So if I don't have a chance to connect with people, then what am I doing it for?
Right.
I'm not doing this for money. I'm not trying to make a name for myself. So like these big, I get asked all the time about doing speaking, and I'm like, that's, if you want to talk to me, that's great, but I'm not
Let's have a
interested
conversation.
I'm not interested in motivating you guys. That's your responsibility.
Yeah. So what's next for you? I mean, what else is out
Well, people
there?
always ask me about writing a book, and I'm just thinking we do not need another self-help book out there. So right now I'm not, I don't know if I'm creating it for public consumption. I'll know when I know. But I'm writing a book of goodbye letters as part of my grieving process.
Yeah.
And right now I'm training. Last year I was the first blind person to cross the Grand Canyon from the North Rim to the South Rim without a guide.
Oh, without a guide?
Without a guide. Yeah, they dropped me off on the North Rim, and I hiked all the way across. So I don't know. So when I attempted to do Everest, a friend of mine went to Italy to do something with his school, and met Reinhold Messner, who's a famous climber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Reinhold Messner when Eric's name came up, he made the mistake of saying blind people will always be like tourists because we always need a guide, so we never do anything alone. And he said that to this professor friend of mine who told me, and I was like, motherfucker, like, why would you say something like that?
Now I'm going to have to prove you wrong.
So I proved him wrong and went and hiked the 23 miles across the Grand Canyon without a guide in like 10 hours and 58 minutes.
So I have to
last
ask,
year.
What are you using? Are you using trek poles? Are you using the all-terrain cane? You're using trek poles. Okay.
I told Sedona Dave he is nuts. I went by using a white cane the whole time you're out hiking. It kills my trap. It's something about the motion. And so my sports trainer and I work on my foot mobility and ankles. So I have titanium ankles. I can roll them a million times and never sprain them because we work on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I use 2 hiking poles to keep my balance.
Yeah. And that's what Eric uses as well. And that's what I use most, unless it's a pretty smooth trail and I'm with people that I know we're going to be going really, really slow. Then I'll use one of the off-road canes or something. But but I like the stability of the trek poles.
Yeah.
Do you hike with your dog?
Nope.
You don't?
Some shorter distances.
Distance. Okay.
Yeah, but my guide dog's 8 and has a little disc of arthritis in his lower back, so I don't want to torture him.
Yeah, my guy's 11 going on 12. And he's definitely got arthritis. Everything else is awesome, but his back legs just aren't working like they used to, huh, buddy?
Yeah, I take Nick to PT once a week.
Yeah,
it definitely helps.
Just because I couldn't find the information on it. When you did the bike ride from Canada to Mexico, what trail was that?
Tour Divide. Tour Divide. So it was the race Tour Divide, and it was the Continental Divide.
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
But if you look at the Continental Divide that people backpack, the Tour Divide race is mostly the Continental Divide.
Right.
Or it's like the Great Divide mountain bike route. I don't remember what the acronym is. But Tour Divide, when you look at their race, the route, there are different places that tour divide kind of goes off of that route. And usually it's something so sketchy you can't actually ride your bike on.
Right.
Like
Oh.
nobody can ride their bike
Yeah.
on. It's just to make it like so much harder. But essentially, we were on the Continental Divide from Banff, Canada to Mexico, the border of
Wow.
Mexico and New
Wow.
Mexico. It was,
Wow.
I don't know how I pulled that off, to be honest, because I was riding a single mountain bike following sound.
know.
And sometimes my guides would like stand at the top of the pass. We'd get up there and then they're like, Shawn, we'll stop. And I like hear the guys mumbling and they're like, I'm like, what's wrong, guys? And they're like, we don't actually know how we're going to get you down this because there's no path. It is like boulders and rocks. And so I start walking it at first, but then I've got bike shoes on and my bike has all my stuff on it. So it's heavy and awkward. And finally, I'm just like, you know what, guys, we're going to have to ride down it. So just do the best you can, because at the end of the day, it's up to me to be able to control my bike. And it's just heinous. It was like,
Oh my God.
Wow.
we had, we had a vehicle out there as support to like charge our helmets and stuff. And they'd go down some of these passes behind us and they're like, how in the world is Shawn like staying upright on her bike on this gnar? It's so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, that was why that was one of the hardest things I've done and probably the most dangerous. And now I'm training. I'm going to attempt to be the first blind person to do the Wonderland Trail in August, starting August 21st. And it's 93 miles around the base of Mount Rainier in Washington State, but we're going to do it in 3 days. So it's like it's like 30-mile days. And as a blind person, the aspect of this that makes it so hard is that we are such a mental game when we're doing something, right? We just have to be so focused, and that's a long day, and you have to move fast enough that you get to the end of your 30-mile day to have some downtime before you get up and you do it again.
Right.
And so I don't know if you know Dan Berlin.
Yes, I do. I do.
So he attempted it in 2021.
Oh, okay.
And they made a short film
Okay.
about it. And we talked to him and his guides, and he just said it was just so hard. And it was the timing, because that first day it took them like 21 and a half hours to do it. So there was no downtime.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm training for now. It's tough training. I've taught myself a 20-mile route that I can go out on my own without a guide here. So if someone's not available, so this will be it. I'm curious to see if I can pull this off.
Wow.
It would be interesting, like if you interviewed like my friend Scott Drum, who does a lot of things with me, and get his perspective of what it's like doing stuff with me, because he also hears what people say.
Yeah.
And then he's a part of the what I do. And so he's just got this really interesting perspective that, he always calls me a pioneer.
Yes.
And
you are.
And just I feel like he's just he says he's always learning from me.
Yes. Oh, most definitely.
And which is, to me, I'm humbled by our friendship. And I never really thought about it, I think, very much about how much we have to teach.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I'm with people and they try to like contort me when we're walking down the sidewalk to get around people, and I'm just like, I'm going to walk straight. I have my dog and my cane. Do not deprive me of an opportunity to educate the outside world, please.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be fine.
You take care of you. I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Is there any like final, message you would like to get out there? There's people all over the world listening to this and different situations, but I wanted to give you a moment just to maybe share a bit of wisdom.
I mean, I feel like I'm so focused on, I'm so saturated with sadness and grief, and that as people see me doing the things I do, it isn't because I'm doing it so other people see what I'm doing. I'm doing it because I feel like if I've been in that black hole of hopelessness, and thinking death was better than life.
Yeah.
And so I just work hard every day to keep myself out of that black hole.
Yeah.
And that's my primary focus in all of this. And that I'm hoping that I am showing people that you always get a choice. Like, no matter what you go through, like, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control with what you do with it
Yeah.
and who you are every day after that.
Well, do you have a website or something you could
Well,
share?
we're working. Well, Choosing to See, we started a foundation called Choosing to See, which is to help the blind and visually impaired community always have the financial resources to do the things that they want to do, because it always takes us and a guide or two or three. And so, I have a bio that's on Choosing to See, and I think we have a clip to the trailer of the documentary. Hopefully soon. We have a blindasfuck.com website about the film. And you can sign up for a newsletter, and it'll keep you posted as to what we're doing and where the film is going. And then I do have a personal website, but I think all this other stuff is way more interesting. I'm on social media if you want to follow. I post about all of my adventures and stuff like that. And if anybody hears this and they want to see the movie or think about a screening, all they have to do is go to the blindasfuck.com website and email Gina, the filmmaker, and we'll have a conversation.
Awesome.
Because it's meant to be seen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And they do have it audio described.
We do have audio
accessible description. We'll definitely we'll put those links on the show notes too.
Okay.
But Shawn, thank you.
Yeah, it's so good to meet you. You guys are so good energy.
You too. You too, sweetie. You too.
Oh, we hate each other when we're off the podcast. So
I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm a walking lie detector now.
Right.
So
that's right.
I'm gonna have to try harder than that.
That's a superpower all blind people have.
It's quite the reverse. Our whole relationship has been based on the one thing we wanted more than anything else in life was a happy relationship, and we got it. We do. It is wonderful.
So maybe one day that's in the cards for me.
Yay. Oh, good luck on that. Yeah.
Sense a good mojo that way. We'll sense a good way. Well, and everybody out there, thank you so much for showing up week after week. We really appreciate it. The show's a success because of you. And then, of course, everybody who works hard behind the scenes at Aftersight. And we do have our annual hike coming up on September 13th. Shawn, you are definitely invited. Oh. It's here in Colorado. So if you're blind and low vision and you have never hiked before, or maybe you're a superhero like Shawn, it's a great trail. You can make it as hard as you want or as easy as you want. It's a great trail. It's above Boulder, Colorado. And you can find all the details at aftersight.org/hike and get all the info about that. We hope to see you out there. And then if you have any feedback that you would like to give Shawn, or somebody who'd like to be on the show, send it to feedback@aftersight.org. Or if you prefer the old-fashioned way with the telephone, which I like, because then I can hear your beautiful voices. That's 720-712-8856. And remember to be kind to yourself this week and find a way to be kind to somebody else. It's good for your soul.